listeners, and welcome back to PERLA'S DREAMs. Leo, this is your reading, and again, guys, these are general readings, so only take whatever applies and please leave the rest. As always, the intentions for these readings are to help you in your own evolution and growth. Okay. Okay, because cross. Seeing is believing is something that is coming through very strong with you guys. There is a situation in your life where you you've been asking spirit, you've been asking God, whomever you pray to, whoever it is that you believe in, however it is that you communicate, to show you the truth about a person. Now, whether this is like a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship, um, it really it really is irrelevant, is what I'm saying. Or what I'm trying to say. Somebody is really showing you their true colors. Somebody's really showing you why it is that they came into your life, whether it was whether this is at a spiritual level where spirit is showing you like the lesson that you were supposed to learn within having someone in your life, or this is like somebody just flat out showing you who they really are and who they have really been. There is this sense of like a mask falling off. There is this sense of there were hints, or there were things that you were picking up on intuitively, I want to say, in regards to this person, whether this could have been an enemy disguised as a friend, right? Type of energy is what I'm picking up. There was an energy of somebody being deceitful, somebody intentionally trying to make you feel you you were wrong, or somebody that was trying to make you second guess yourself. Now, when we look at that and we shift that energy into like, okay, where in my life have I been doing this to myself? Well, it goes into the space of, have you been truthful to yourself, and have you been really stepping up your game, let's put it this way, when it comes to your intuition? Have you really been listening to your intuition, or have you been doubting your intuition and making it into a sense or into a point where something has to be repeated to you multiple times before you finally like listen to your intuition? So whatever this is, like, seeing is believing, this energy of like, there is no more questioning your intuition. There is no more questioning the guidance that is coming from within you. So after this event, or this takes place in your life, there is no more going back. There is no more trying to put yourself, or trying to be this individual, this person that can no longer see. Because I feel that some of you will have really gotten into a space where you sometimes put a blind eye. Sorry guys, I'm like trying to get this in a position that I like. Some of you turn a blind eye to the things that your intuition is telling you, to the things that your intuition is showing you, to give somebody else the benefit of the doubt. And it's like spirit is telling you like, there is no more of that, right? There is no more denying that there's more behind this. There's more to this than what meets the eye. So you're being allowed during this time to see behind the veil, to see truly what it is. And then the thing is that it's like, you've been seeing behind the veil for a very long time. But there's something here, like an energy of like fear of like trusting what you have been seeing, or trusting what you have been told, or trusting what you have been hearing. And it's like, spirit is going to put it like plain and simple, where there is no running from this. Like, you have asked to see, and you're going to be shown. Now the question is, what are you going to do after that? Are you going to continue to be in a space where you continue to doubt yourself, or you continue to doubt spirit? Or are you finally going to step into your own power? Are you finally going to step into the space of like claiming who you are within that spiritual realm that is being shown to you? There is this energy, Leo, where you need to stop. There is an essence here, whether it is that you are excuse me, at the top of your class, or you're the head of like a business, or you're the to-go person, or you're the person of authority, or whatever it is. You have to remember that when you're in a position of authority, regardless of the situation, you have to learn to lead with compassion and you have to learn to lead with grace. When you're trying to lead from a space of fear and a space of anger and a space of like, well, I'm right and you're wrong, you're going to start seeing that you're going to be resistant, right? And the reason why you're meeting that resistance is because if you put yourself in their shoes, you don't like to be taught that way, right? You want, when somebody's trying to teach you something, to, yeah, teach you the correct way and lead you down the correct path, but also have compassion and grace that if a mistake is made or if a challenge is not faced correctly the first time, the person, or you, let's put it this way, if you were the student, that you're going to get there. But when you're brutally like being like trying to install fear into somebody or into a situation, you're going to continue on meeting these resistance. So if you're in a space of authority at the moment and you're starting to see that you're meeting a lot more resistance than you used to, then let's take a step and let's look at your teaching style or your leading style. Are you leading from a place of fear because there's something within yourself that you're fearing, or there's something that you're fearing to lose or anything like that? Or are you coming from a place of grace and compassion when you're trying to lead or teach someone else? Now, if that offends you, if that triggers you, there's really not much that I can do. This is how the message is coming through. There is this, again, this game of reflection and this game of projection that we are continuously and constantly playing, that it gets to a point where it's like, hey, baby, like, sweetie, my love, let's pay attention here. Like, you keep saying that you want to be this type of leader, you keep saying that you want to be this type of authority figure, you want to be this type of you know, manager, or this type of CEO, this type of whatever. But your part of you is starting to allow like that past fear of how you do not like to be taught or whatever to influence how it is that you're teaching or how it is that you're leading. And that is where this resistance is coming in. So really pay attention to that space during this time. Really pay attention to where that resistance is coming from. And it's not about like you trying to like forcefully change it, but acknowledge like, oh shoot, yeah, that situation could have been handled differently. Oh yeah, that situation, you know, if I want this outcome, I could have gone about this way, right? Just because you're in a position of authority or in a position of leadership doesn't mean that you're not learning. You have to also be open that even if you're leading and even if you're in authority, you're always open to learn and always open to be a student of the universe, right? Because every single day there's something new that you can learn. There seems to be like these crossroads when it comes to your own like when it comes to your personal life. I'm picking up this energy in love where some of you may have been already asked to let go of a situation or to walk away from something, and you're holding on to the investment, whether it is time or money that you have put into a relationship. For a lot of you, this is coming up as love. It's like, oh, I spent so many years with this person, I did this, I did that, and it's like the spirit is telling you like, okay, and although those years you're continuously getting hurt, what have you truly learned from it, right? Like, it's sometimes it's not until we finally walk away from something or from someone that we start to realize all the lessons that we were learning throughout the years. But when we choose to stay in those confined spaces, when we choose to stay in those spaces where spirit is telling you to walk away from, then you keep on repeating the same lesson because you never took a step back to analyze the situation. And that's what the spirit is trying to tell you when it comes to this specific individual or this specific relationship. Some of you feel that the path that you're being asked to walk is a little bit way too narrow. Like, you have to like dim yourself, or you have to like shed yourself, or you have to like, the way that it's coming up, and I'm gonna use a weight reference for this, right? Like, let's say there's a door that you need to walk through, but you need to lose a couple of pounds before you walk into, like, through that door, and you're kind of like asking spirit, like, well, why do I have to change myself in order to walk through that door? And spirit is looking at you like, sweetie, nobody's telling you to change yourself. We're just telling you to let go of what is no longer serving you, because that baggage, that extra bag, that extra few pounds, whatever it is what is not allowing you to walk through that door, what is not allowing you to walk through that quote unquote narrow path. And the reason why the path looks narrow or feels narrow for you, again, is because there are things, there are people, there are perceptions, there are way of like there's certain belief systems here. There's all of this thing, all of these things that spirit is like, hey, I freed you from this. Why are you still carrying it around? Like, why are you still holding on to this? Like, this is no longer part of the story that you're playing in right now. This is no longer part of your narrative. That is more, that information is there to be used solely as a testimonial than anything else. And you guys are getting your wires crossed when it comes to that. It's like you want to, okay. Some of you are trying to prove, this is just coming through, like some of you are trying to prove that you belong in the position that you're at. And you're constantly bringing up past situations or past struggles to let other people know that you belong where you belong. And that in itself is an issue, because the thing is that if you are in whatever position that you're in of authority or whatever it is, there was a path that led you to that. And the only person that you should be spending any time and any energy in convincing that you belong there is you yourself, and not anyone else. If people want to question why you are in authority, or people want to question why you have this position, or why you have this, or why you have that, that is a you problem, as far as like that's a them problem. Like, they need to figure out why they can't accept that you yourself are in position, right? And you're getting those wires crossed in a sense of like you're wanting to again like prove to someone that you deserve to be seated, like you deserve a seat at that table. You deserve to be the head of that. You deserve to be in charge of this. So there's this struggling within yourself of like, it's kind of like, you know, all the struggles, you know, all the challenges, you know how hard you had to work for something, but it's like you want the world to see how hard you had to work for something. You want the world to see how much you had to struggle. And it's like sometimes the struggles and the challenges are done behind the scenes, and the only thing that the world or those outside of the situation are allowed to see are the fruitions of it. And you don't have to keep on repeating all the struggles and all the sacrifices. It's almost kind of like there's a time and place for it. There's a time and place for sharing your testimonial, but your testimonial doesn't have to be something that defines you, because I feel that it's becoming to a point where it's like you cannot have a conversation without even stating this testimonial. Like, I could be talking to you about pink and purple skies, and you're gonna bring in your testimonial to tell me why you're in this position, and I'm like, I didn't even ask you. Like, it's irrelevant to me. Like, congratulations, I'm happy for you. So as you're using this testimonial, it's almost coming into like a forceful way of like wanting to show the world why you are in the position that you are and how hard you work for it. But some things are meant to be shared in certain spaces, and in other spaces, like I feel like even when someone is trying to celebrate you, when someone is trying to congratulate you, you still default into this, oh yeah, because I had to go through this and I had to go through that. And it's like, right now, that space, the energy that wants to be seen, the energy that wants to be experienced, is that of you accepting a praise, is that of you accepting the celebration, is that of you of accepting of being seen. A lot of you feel like you are not being seen, but it's like it's almost kind of like your own mind and your own perception, because of how hard it was to accomplish something, because of how hard it was to get to a certain point. You're not even allowing yourself to celebrate yourself while you're in this space. Celebrate it. Allow other people to celebrate you within the space instead of constantly going on the defense. Okay. A lot of the struggles and a lot of the challenges that you face were a training ground for this breakthrough, for this position that you're now in, whether it is financially, whether it's career wise, whether it's love. It's like, yeah, I'm finally with a partner that values me, sees me, like, you know, whatever it is that you're looking for in a partner. And it's like, yeah, but I had to go through like 3 bad marriages and this and that. And it's like, your partner just wants to celebrate the fact that the two of you found each other. Your partner just wants to celebrate the fact that the two of you are together. So there is definitely some inner work there that needs to be done as to why is it that you're constantly wanting to validate the position. Like, you want to have validation as to like the struggles that got you to where you're at in this specific area of your life. All right, let's see. There is this thing that is coming through, like your past was the stepping stone for to getting you to where you're at. And everything that has happened, everything that has occurred, right, has a place in your storyline, but it's almost kind of like you don't have to keep repeating it. You don't have to keep repeating it. You don't have to keep repeating it. Like, spirit, you guys are like, yes, we were there with you. We walked those trials with you. We were there through those challenges. We were there through this. We were there through that. Now, spirit is trying to guide you, like, or shift you into like a different direction. And because you're not allowing that storyline to stay where it belongs, you're trying to drag it with you, is where the resistance is being met. This resisting is being met because you are wanting to continue the same story, just from a different perspective or a different angle, if that makes sense. You have to learn to live under grace. Stop bringing yourself into a space where you think that you're still surviving. Address that energy, address that space. Maybe do some root chakra type of work. I do have a playlist like with root chakra meditations. It's just basically like a little breath work to kind of like reset and balance that out so that you can get the clarity that you need, because there is this energy of like survivalness when it comes to proving a point or proving something that a lot of you are still battling with. And in a sense, it's kind of like robbing you from the space of really leaning into like celebration, which is where I feel a lot of you should be at this moment in time. It's like during this time, you're supposed to be celebrating, you're supposed to be enjoying your accomplishments and where it is that you are. But instead, you're in this space of like wanting to tell the world. Like, then this is just an example. When I was first diagnosed with narcolepsy, and it started to align a lot of the things that was happening to me physically, that is all that I could talk about, right? And then it got to a point where spirit is like, hey, we got it. You got it. You know it. Now let's move forward and let's change the dialogue. So when I speak about the narcolepsy and things like that and what I've learned through it and stuff like that, the dialogue around it has changed. But I am no longer having to constantly bring it up whenever I make a mistake or whenever I'm facing a challenge or anything like that, because that part of my story has its place, but I don't have to drag it around into every other part of my story. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card. We are using the Medicine Heart deck. This is a beautiful deck that was gifted to me by a very beautiful, lovely client. This is my second deck out of three that she's gifted me. So let's go ahead and let's see, what do we have? And the reason why I mentioned that is because I am extremely grateful. Whenever there seems to be this thing of like, when I receive decks as gifts, they bring in like this very specific energy that I wasn't even aware was missing, or maybe an energy that I've been looking for and I didn't know how to manifest it. So it's always, to me, like I'm always in awe when I received a deck. So we have number 12, the charcoal is your card, and let's go ahead and let's see what that card is saying specifically for you guys. I don't know if you guys got to see it. So look how beautiful it is. See? Okay. It's number 12. You have been called to undergo initiation. Challenges that you are working through are purposeful, divine catalysts for your healing and transformation. This this is the means to your awakening and will support your soul empowerment and life purpose. That may be as a creative or as a healer, guide, and medicine worker upon this planet, or in some other way that your heart recognizes as truth, authentic, and meaningful for you. The transformation journey into power will include twists and turns, and you will move through the death of your darkness and the ecstasy of your light as you shed resistance, realize wisdom, and embrace life with a fearless heart. So again, you're in the midst of this transformation, which is beautiful. Anytime that we're transitioning from one space to another within our own evolution is a beautiful thing to embrace, right? And we have to realize that a lot of the time, those things that we are perceiving to be obstacles or challenges, these things that are not, don't always feel so good, right? That trigger us is because it is meant to, right? It is meant to be in that space so that we can then lean into them to learn what it is that we need to learn in order to release ourselves from it, in order to allow it to literally be released from our energy, from our spirit. And this is where a lot of times people get a little resistant with like, well, I've had to let go of this and that and da, 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 da. It's like, hey, you're evolving into a completely different being. There is a lot that has to, I don't want to say, like, the word change is not fitting for this, in my opinion. It's like mutating. You're mutating into another being, right? Another, to like that higher self, that higher divine being that is within you. And in order for that, again, these old stories, these storylines have to be left where they belong in the past. And they're only used, right? Or they only come up when it's in relevance, right? Relevance, yeah, to like a testimonial or something like that. But not like, don't get fixated on the challenges that you had to overcome. Know that within those challenges, you learn and you gain the tools to move forward, because that is what they were there for. Well, guys, that is all I have for you. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.